Alright, so in this video, I will talk about the Week 3 quiz prep. What is an adverb? An adverb modifies a verb. Words ending in ly are adverbs. John rode his horse slowly. Slowly is an adverb that modifies the verb rode. Rodney drove his car too rapidly. Rapidly is an adverb that modifies the verb drive. Adverbs can be anywhere in the sentence. Rapidly, Rodney drove his car. Rodney rapidly drove his car. Rodney drove his car rapidly. So, William took his classes very serious or seriously. Which adjective or adverb completes this sentence? So the answer is seriously, because seriously modifies the verb took. So how did William take his classes? He took his classes very seriously. As the little boy, gentle or gently, snuggled the tiny kitten. Gently is the correct answer because the adverb gently modifies the verb snuggled. What is an adjective? An adjective modifies a noun and comes before the noun. However, adjectives are usually before the noun. John is a writer slow. That's incorrect because here the adjective comes after the noun, writer. Correct, John is a slow writer. Slow is an adjective that modifies the noun, writer. Rodney is a fast driver. Fast modifies the noun, driver. Adjectives can come after the noun after the verb to be. Rodney is smart. Smart modifies the noun, Rodney. Clark is tall. Tall is an adjective that modifies the noun, Clark. The handsomely man dresses in a fancy suit. And so you want to know which one is it. Well, since this is describing the man, so it's handsome because the adjective always modifies the noun. So therefore the correct answer is the handsome man dresses in a fancy suit. I was paid handsome or handsomely for my job. And so when something modifies the verb, which is an adverb, we use handsomely. Remember that any word that ends in ly is an adverb and modifies the adverb. And adverbs usually come after the verb. Not always. You can say, well, anyway, Robert snored loudly. Is loudly an adjective or an adverb? And so here, loudly modifies the verb snore. Therefore, the correct answer is loudly, which makes it an adverb. What is an adjective? What is a subject versus object pronoun? And so a object versus subject pronoun. A pronoun, as we learned in the other week, is a noun that replaces another noun. An object pronoun is a pronoun used as an object. Object pronouns are located after the verb. So object pronouns are like us, him, her, them, you, me, it. Subject pronoun. A subject pronoun is used as a subject in a sentence. Subject pronouns are located before the verb. I, he, she, they, we, you, it. She is a great dancer. She is a subject pronoun that comes before the verb. I gave her all my money. Her is an object pronoun that comes after the verb. Week 3 quiz questions. She gave us money. Is she an object or subject pronoun? She is a subject pronoun because she comes before the verb gave. She gave us money. Is us an object or subject pronoun? Us is an object pronoun because it comes after the verb. The apples spoiled due to the humid weather. What pronoun would replace apples? The correct answer is they. They spoiled due to the humid weather. So here, because apples comes before the verb, it is a subject pronoun, and therefore you would use they as a subject pronoun. John sent Jimmy on an errand. What pronoun would replace Jimmy? And so since Jimmy comes after the verb, it is an object pronoun, and therefore as an object pronoun you would use him. More questions about subject-object pronouns. The clothes that Laura gave my sister and me were too small. Is the pronoun in this sentence an object or subject pronoun? So you have to look through this entire sentence, and you have to be able to recognize what is a pronoun. And right away you should know that me is a pronoun, and therefore is me an object or subject pronoun? And since me comes after the verb, it is an object pronoun. So the correct answer is B. The apples spoiled due to the humidity. What pronoun would best replace the noun apples? And here, because apples come before the verb spoiled, it is a subject pronoun, and therefore it is they. Possessive pronouns. So possessive pronouns are pronouns that show possession. And so therefore his, hers, theirs, ours, yours, its, mine, you. Those are all possessive pronouns. So here are some quiz questions that shows up on your quiz. The dog wagged its tail or its tail. So remember that in its there is no apostrophe s. So therefore the answer is the second, its, tail. My car lost its or its rear license plate. And here, once again, same thing. It's the second one, the second its, because there's no apostrophe s. This book is yours. And it's the first one, no apostrophe s. So remember that in these kind of questions, no apostrophe s. The mayor said that the task of cutting the budget was not hers, hers, or hers. It's the first one. So you have to remember these forms the way it looks. And then the car, this car is theirs or theirs. And then you have to know the difference between their and theirs. And so here the correct answer is theirs. This one means there is, so that's not correct. So therefore the correct answer is this one. There is a car in the garage. And the answer is this one because there shows location. So that's the difference. This theirs shows possession, and this one shows location. What part of speech is there? That's the answer. Pronoun. So there is a possessive pronoun. So C is the correct answer because the name of the entire section, possessive pronouns. So theirs is a pronoun. I discovered that my car had somehow lost its rear license plate. What is the correct possessive pronoun for this sentence? Then it means its with no apostrophe s. What are demonstrative pronouns? Demonstrative pronouns show you how far or how near an object is to you. And so something, if an object is close to you, you would say this book. If an object is far from you, you would say that book. If the object is far from you but plural, you would say those books. And the objects are near you, you would say these books. So this their house is old. That's incorrect. You can't talk like that. That's like I think that's a southern accent, and that's incorrect. So the correct English you would say is this house is old. So you don't say this their house is old. That their beer is stale. That's also incorrect. The correct way of saying it is that beer is stale. Them shoes are smelly. That's incorrect. That's not correct English. You would have to say these shoes are smelly, those shoes are smelly, and they are smelly. a quiz question on demonstrative pronouns. So do we say them two movies are about life in early New England, or do we say those two movies? So we don't say them because them is an object pronoun that always comes after the verb. So therefore A is wrong and the correct answer is B. Jack entered this dog or that there dog in an obedience test. And obviously we don't say that there dog, we always say that dog in an obedience test, in an obedience contest. More quiz questions about demonstrative pronouns. Leave them keys out on the coffee table, or do we say leave those keys? And so we never say leave them keys, since them is an object pronoun that comes after the verb. And so leave them keys, now it's leave those keys on the coffee table. Are those seats theirs, theirs, and theirs? And so there's no apostrophe S on demonstrative pronouns. And so therefore the answer is theirs. This is the correct answer because theirs is a possessive pronoun. Them two movies are about life in early New England. What is the correct demonstrative pronoun for this sentence? And you don't say them two movies, you say those two movies. Do we say this here map is out of date, or do we say this map is out of date? So we don't say this here map is out of date, we say this map, and so the correct answer is this map is out of date. So the reason why I did the southern accent is because my relatives in Texas talk like that. So I can make fun of my relatives. I'm not making fun of all southern people, just my relatives who talk like that. What is a comparative? In a comparative, you compare two things, and only two things. So here you would say, John is smarter than Jan. Jan is taller than Steve. And when we do a comparative, we don't say something like more better. Instead, we would say Jack is better at math than Steve. We don't say Jack is less better at math than Steve. There's no such formation as less better. You would say not as good as. Jack is not as good at math as Steve. Steve is more intelligent than Jack. Jack is less intelligent than Steve. And so when you compare two people, two things, two foods, oranges are tastier than tangerines. Okay, so you can also list two people, two things, two issues, and anything, as long as it's two of them, whatever it is you're comparing. That's why it's called a comparative. This is a quiz question. The stranger or the strangest of the two pictures featured an owl with 3 eyes. So here you're comparing two pictures. So whenever you're comparing two pictures, you want stranger. Remember that ER, usually when you have a comparative, the word ends in ER. And you would say ER and then, taller than, smaller than. And so here, is it stranger or strangest? And because we're comparing two pictures, it's a comparative, so the answer is stranger with an ER. That's actually a quiz question. What is a superlative? A superlative means that we're comparing more than two things, such as a comparison of a person with a group of people, or if you compare someone or something to the entire world or the entire class. So when we use a superlative, then we are using EST. Instead of in a comparative, when we're comparing two things, we're using ER, whereas in a superlative, when we're comparing John versus the entire class of 25 people, John is the smartest student in the class. Jack is the dumbest student in the class. The Eiffel Tower is the prettiest monument in the world. Jack is the least intelligent person in the school. And so here you have to use M-A-S-T. Don't say Jack is less intelligent student in the school. You have to say least and most. All right, and then when we're talking about comparatives, then we say less and more. Okay, so here Jack is the least intelligent student in the school. Robert is the most intelligent. So when you compare more than two things, then you are using a superlative. Quiz questions about superlatives. Tara told the blank jokes I've ever heard. So here we're talking about more than two jokes. So which adjective or adverb completes the sentence? So do we say most clever or more clever? And so here the answer is A, the most clever jokes, because we're talking about more than two jokes. So whenever you have M-O-S-T, that is a superlative. When you have M-O-R-E, that is a comparative. And when we use a comparative, that is when we compare two things. When we use superlative, such as M-O-S-T, we are comparing more than two things. So the answer to this question is A. Tara told the most clever jokes I've ever heard. What is an antecedent? So this we went over during week 1. An antecedent is a noun that the pronoun replaces, and the antecedent always agrees with the pronoun. An antecedent a pronoun agrees with its antecedent. Pronouns and antecedents agree in gender and number. You have to remember that for the quiz. And so here, true or false? Do pronouns and antecedents agree in gender and number? And the answer is true. I believe that's one of your... So here, for example, Jack is the antecedent, and therefore that means that it's just one person, so that means number. And then it also the pronoun he agrees in number and gender to the antecedent Jack. And so here, Jack is a man, so therefore the pronoun agrees in gender, and there's only one man, and therefore it agrees in number, he. Jack and Jill, so there's two of them, so therefore it agrees in number, they. And gender, in English, it doesn't really matter because they covers both men and women. And so when you have pronouns and antecedents, they agree in gender and number. Which of the following is true about pronoun antecedent agreements? And I just got finished telling you that pronouns and antecedents agree in gender or number. So the correct answer is B. After a comparative, you have a subject pronoun. So you would say, Veli plays better piano than I. You don't say that Veli plays better piano than me. Correct. Veli plays better piano than I do. Than I do. The do is understood. And so sometimes, and then that's why you don't say, Veli plays better piano than me do. Okay? This is the reason why we use subject pronouns instead of object pronouns, because of the understood do. And do is normally not said. Veli plays better piano than I do. Jack plays worse golf than John and Jack. So Jack plays worse golf than they do. And then you would say, Jack plays worse golf than they. You don't say them. Your piano performance proved you practiced more than they, and then than they did. So did is understood, right? So, and then the did is understood. So that therefore you would say that you would use a subject pronoun they. Your piano performance proved you practiced more than they did, more than they. So they is a subject pronoun that comes before the verb. We could not have asked for a better teacher or a more better teacher. And I said that there's no such thing in English as the word more better in English. So therefore the correct answer is A. We could not have asked for a better teacher in math. Which adjective or adverb completes the sentence? So the answer would be A. Now this takes us to our practice quiz. Your piano performance proved that you practice more than they. Is this pronoun an object or subject pronoun? And since it comes before, before they did, and therefore did is understood, right? And so therefore this is a subject pronoun. We could not have asked for a, and that since there's no such thing as the word more better, the answer is A. We could not have asked for a better teacher. Which of the following is true about pronoun antecedent agreement? And we just got through saying pronouns and antecedents should agree in gender or number. William took his classes very serious or seriously. And we know that when a pronoun, when a word modifies a verb, therefore it's an adverb. So therefore William took his classes very seriously and studied several hours a day. So therefore we use an adverb when a word modifies a noun, when a word modifies a verb. The clothes that Laura gave my sister and me were too small. So is the pronoun in this sentence an object pronoun or a subject pronoun? And so here you got to look for which word in this sentence is a pronoun. And so right away you know that it's me is the pronoun. Now is this an object or subject pronoun? Well, if the pronoun comes after the verb, then it's an object pronoun. So therefore the answer is B. Number 6, do we say them two movies or those two movies? So which demonstrative pronoun is correct? And you already know we don't say them two movies, we always say those two movies. As the little boy gentle snuggled the tiny kitten or gently snuggled the kitten. So we know that we want to modify the verb snuggled and therefore gently. Remember that adverbs usually end in ly. Tara told the most clever jokes or more clever jokes. And so here you know that more than two jokes. If you're just going to compare two jokes, then it would be more clever. It would be a comparative. But because this is a superlative, because she's talking about more than two jokes, and therefore, so the answer is A. Tara told the most clever jokes I've ever heard. Jack entered that dog or that there dog. And so we already know that it's that dog because we don't use that there in proper English. What part of speech is there? And so there is a pronoun because there replaces another noun. He knocked on the door. What part of speech is underlined in this sentence? And I know you can't see it very well, but it's this he that's underlined. And so we know that he is a subject pronoun because it comes before the verb. Leave them keys out on the coffee table or leave those keys. And so the answer to this is those keys because those is a demonstrative pronoun while them is an object pronoun. Are those seats A, B, C? They're there or theirs. And so you know that there's no apostrophe S in this particular possessive pronoun. And so here it's are those seats theirs? So the answer is B. Is it them two movies or those two movies? And so the correct demonstrative pronoun is those two movies are about life in New England. I discovered that my car had somehow lost its, or its. And the answer is B. So without the apostrophe S, lost its rear license plate. The apples spoiled due to the humidity. What pronoun would best replace the noun apples? And so since apples is the subject in the sentence and comes before the verb, therefore the answer is they. They spoiled due to the humidity. What is the correct demonstrative pronoun for this sentence? Is it this here map is out of date or this map is out of date? And so we don't ever say this here map is out of date. We say this map is out of date because this is a demonstrative pronoun saying something, an object that is near you. The blank of the two pictures featured an owl with 3 eyes. Which adjective or adverb completes the sentence? And so here you're comparing 2 pictures. And so therefore if you're comparing 2 pictures, it's a comparative, and therefore the stranger of the 2 pictures featured an owl with 3 eyes. And that's it for your week 3 quiz. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me anytime.